Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and please do not forget to like and subscribe, thank you. I was her storm, and she was my shelter, but I didn't know how to stay. Lee Min-ho finally speaks on why he broke up with Song Hye-kyo, despite the gentle, selfless love she poured into him. A heartbreaking confession of love, loss, and lessons that came too late. The most emotional and soul-exposing interview of his career unfolds as Lee Min-ho lays bare the real reason behind the end of the love story the whole world believed in. They were two of the brightest stars in the galaxy of Korean entertainment. Lee Min-ho, with his magnetic charm, commanding presence, and smile that could melt the coldest heart. Song Hye-kyo, a timeless beauty with eyes full of mystery and a voice that never needed to be loud to be heard. Together, they looked like a story written in the stars. Two artists, two souls, two hearts that found a quiet, private love in a world of constant noise. To fans, they were more than just a couple. They were the living embodiment of everything a romantic heart dares to dream. But when it ended, suddenly, silently, and with no explanation, the world was left reeling. And now, after years of holding it in, Lee Min-ho has finally told his truth. And it's more heart-wrenching, more deeply human than anyone could have imagined. The beginning, a love formed in the shadows of fame. Theirs wasn't a love that erupted in a public kiss or a red carpet reveal. It wasn't fireworks. It was a quiet unfolding, like a sunrise no one expected. They first met during a private dinner hosted by mutual friends, far from cameras, far from scripts, far from curated images. Lee Min-ho had just wrapped a grueling filming schedule. Song Hye-kyo was taking a break from the spotlight. Both were tired, not just physically, but emotionally. "I didn't expect anything," Lee recalled in his interview with K-Star Monthly. "I didn't even want to be there. But then I saw her. She was sitting at the end of the table, not saying much. But something about her presence that pulled me in." That night, they barely spoke. But when they did, it wasn't small talk. They spoke of grief, of loss, of childhood loneliness, of how fame makes you feel both loved and isolated. She said to me, "Isn't it strange how millions love us, but we go home and sleep alone?" That sentence stayed with me for months. That night, Lee Min-ho went home and wrote her a letter.
It wasn't romantic.
It was raw,
Honest.
human. He gave it to her weeks later at another event. She didn't reply in words. She simply squeezed his hand. And that was the start of it all. A woman who loved like still water. In the interview, Lee Min-ho described Song Hye-kyo's love in poetic, reverent detail. "She wasn't fire. She was water.
Calm. Healing. Still.
She didn't overwhelm me. She didn't chase me. She just stood there, quietly offering me peace." He spoke about how she learned his silences, how she never forced him to speak, but always knew when something was wrong. How she bought his mother flowers on her birthday, without him ever telling her the date. How she rubbed his temples when he came home from night shoots with migraines. How she memorized his favorite books, his favorite jazz records, and how she would sing softly while cooking for him. She didn't love me loudly, but she loved me thoroughly. But while she poured her soul into him, he admits he didn't know how to receive it. Not because he didn't care, but because he felt undeserving. The weight of being loved when you feel broken. Lee Min-ho shared that behind his success, behind the stardom, behind the flawless image, was a man still healing from old wounds, many of which he had never shared with anyone. "My fans see me smiling, laughing, charming. But there are nights I can't sleep because I don't know who I am without the cameras."
She saw that part of me.
And instead of running, she stayed. That scared me. He explained how, deep down, he was terrified of disappointing her. So, instead of opening up, he shut down. He buried his feelings. He missed dinners. He forgot anniversaries. Not because he didn't care, but because he felt like he didn't deserve the way she loved him. "I wasn't used to being loved without conditions. And I didn't know how to show up fully when I was still hiding from parts of myself." The day she let go, and why she had to. The love didn't end with a betrayal. There was no shouting match. No dramatic incident, just a slow fading, and then a quiet goodbye. Lee recalled the final moment vividly. It was a cold evening in late winter. They hadn't spoken properly in weeks. She came over, wearing the scarf he had bought her during a trip to Paris. Her eyes looked tired, but not angry. She sat across from him, held his hand, and whispered, "I love you, but I can't keep trying to convince you that you're worthy of being loved." She placed a small envelope on the table and left. Inside was a letter he still keeps in his drawer. A letter he reads when he misses her most. The aftermath. Living with what was lost. Lee Min-ho admits that after she left, he tried to convince himself it was for the best. He poured himself into work,
Traveled.
smiled for cameras, took on roles. But every night, he returned to an apartment that felt emptier. There are nights I wake up thinking I heard her voice. I walk through cities and think I see her in the crowd. I hear her laugh in my dreams. He says he's dated since, but no one has touched him the way she did. Other women liked me. She understood me. And now that I understand myself better, she's no longer here. What he would say if she were here today. Toward the end of the interview, the host asked the question millions were waiting for. If Song Hye-kyo were sitting in front of you now, what would you say to her? Lee Min-ho took a deep breath, looked into the camera, and with tears quietly falling, said, "I would say,
I'm sorry.
I would say, thank you. I would say you were right. I didn't know how to receive love. But I do now. I learned too late. And if you ever look back, just know that I never stopped loving you. Not for a single second." The world reacts. As the interview aired across Asia and later streamed globally, social media exploded. Twitter trended with hashtags like #MihoBrokenHeart, #ComebackHye-kyo, and #SheLovedHimRight. Fans from every corner of the world began revisiting old clips, fan edits, and grainy photos of the two stars together. Thousands of comments poured in, most expressing admiration, heartbreak, and a collective mourning for what was lost between them. One viral tweet read, "This isn't just a breakup story. This is a lesson for all of us. Don't run from love because you're afraid. Run into it. Let it save you before it walks away." A closing thought. In the quiet aftermath of Lee Min-ho's confession, the world is left not with scandal, but with something far more human, a glimpse into the pain of pushing away the one person who saw your soul and still chose to stay. His story is a reminder that love is not always fireworks. Sometimes it's soft. Sometimes it's silent. Sometimes it's a gentle hand on your back when the world feels too heavy. And sometimes it's the one thing you don't realize you needed until it's gone. Whether they will ever reunite, no one knows. But what's clear now is this. She loved him deeply. He loved her silently. And somewhere in between, they lost each other.